Hello, good morning. I just was um, contemplating for people who have high anxiety, or anxiety at all, or depression. Um, for me, the earth is such a reflection, and a beautiful reflection. And so, what reminds me of anxiety is a hurricane, a mind out of control that has come in contact with water, the emotions, and is circling and circling and circling. And it becomes so out of control. It becomes so fast, the mind. This is why people say, I can't stop it, and I hear people who have anxiety in the middle of the night. They can't sleep because the mind is going and going, or PTSD. Now, what I want to say is that this may not help everyone. Okay, this might only help a few people. It may not be your thing, and if it's not, that's okay. There's no one cure all for every person. There's no root cause for every single person. A lot of times there's no root cause for one person. Often it's several different things that help a person, whether it's through sickness or whether it's through a goal. Or so if you're looking for a root cause, understand there may be many different causes or many different reasons. And so if you're looking for why you have anxiety, what I say is stop looking for why. Stop wondering why. It doesn't matter. There's many, 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 many reasons it could be. If you know why, well, that's a little different, right? If you've had a traumatic event and you never had anxiety before, whether you've been in a car crash or, okay, well, then you know the reason. But for many, anxiety, for people who have had anxiety, it's in their DNA, it's in their genetics, it's carried on from many family members, um, many people in the past. Sometimes it's related to bacteria, not enough bacteria in the guts. Remember, the guts is, in my opinion, the number one brain. But anyways, that's not what I was here to discuss. I was here to discuss the reflection of Earth, and anxiety reminds me of a hurricane. So when a hurricane speeds up and speeds up, the reason is because the wind hits the water out further away from land, right? So it's literally just, it's up here, all these emotions and this wind, meaning the mind is going, going, going. So how does the hurricane slow down? It slows down once it hits land, right? So how is that reflection? How do we bring that into the experience of life for anxiety or depression or whatever it may be? Well, what is the reflection of land or earth within us, and that's the body? So what I say to do is get into the body. Now, how do you do that? You're like, well, I'm in the body. Well, you're not in the body if you're in anxiety. Your mind's thinking and thinking and thinking, and you're emoting and feeling and worrying, and you're in this huge plethora of basically wind and water, but you got no earth. You're missing the element of earth. So let's get you into the element of earth. How do you do that? I say get into the kidneys or get into the guts. So what does that mean? Get as far down as possible, right? So if you're up here and you're emoting and you're having anxiety and depression because the mind is going, if you just get into the head, well, you're still going to have, it's like you've just hit landfall. So the wind is still going, right? And you move down a little farther and you're still at the shoreline, right? We want to get you far inland so that mind and so that that emotion slows down. So you want to get as far land as possible. And And the kidneys and the stomach are nice and deep in the body. So how do we do that? As the mind is going and going and going, you gotta shift your trajectory, okay? Which is go feel the kidneys. Feel them fully. What happens, and that's what I just did, okay? So just as an example, so when I go feel the kidneys, and if you're in tune enough, you can see that drop in energy, okay? The reason that I like to use the kidneys even over the stomach is because often what's happening with anxiety is a lot of people are feeling that uncomfortable, a butterfly, that in the stomach. But that's why I like to use the kidneys. Plus, the kidneys are at the back of the body. Okay, so it takes your focus out of being in front of you, meaning in the future. And anxiety is often the mind too far in the future. Okay, so if you're in anxiety, you're in the future. So let's go to the back. Let's go backwards. Let's go to the kidneys. Okay, so then you feel the kidneys. If you're in depression, I say the opposite. Depression is the mind's in the past. Okay, so then what do? You go to the stomach, deep in the intestines, deep down towards the colon. Feel that out. When you become proficient at it, it takes time. You know what? It's just like training for a marathon. It's not an overnight thing. You don't have to go and sit in the cross-legged lotus position. You just need to take yourself out of up here. That wind and water as they join, okay? Those emotions and that mind as it joins can be extremely, extremely powerful. But it's the body that helps ground those out. Okay, so remember, anxiety, go to the back. Go sit in the kidneys. It's easy. All you gotta do is just change your focus. Feel your kidneys. Now, I'm able to stay there for a long period of time, but what happens, and that's just because I've been doing meditation and focus and body work for years and years and years. So if this is just new to you, you may find that you can only stay in there for a couple seconds. But what'll happen is that first it'll be 2 seconds, then it'll be 4 seconds, then it'll be 6 seconds, then it'll grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. And eventually you'll love it so much that the first sign of anxiety, you go right to the kidneys. And same with depression. The first sign of depression, you go to the stomach. Actually below the stomach, you go to the intestines, you go to the guts, you go down as far as you can, and you feel. If you can feel, if you're a woman, you can feel your uterus, go for it. And I'm talking on the inside of the body. Feel the body, feel inside. What you're doing is you're taking all your energy that is stuck up here. So what you've done, what's happened, not what you've done, but what's happened, is when anxiety happens, okay, the mind starts to play. It's thinking about the future, it's worrying, it's trying to feel the future, it can't feel it, it doesn't know, it's excited at 1 minute about the future, but then it's like, well, what if that doesn't happen? And then it goes into worry, and then the emotions start, and this emoting happens, and it's all happening up here. The energy of the body is up here. Okay? But what happens when you drain that out of the head and all those emotions out of the upper body? You go back into land, just like a hurricane. So, anyways, I just thought maybe, if it doesn't, it doesn't. It might help somebody with anxiety or depression. Because the fact of the matter is, sometimes people have tried every single little thing and they're giving up. But I like to use earth and nature as my reflection and understanding of life. And when you use that and you see Earth teaches you things, it's wonderful. I mean, it is so amazing how much nature teaches you when you watch it and you listen to it and you're present with it. And you see the logic and the simpleness and the simple logic behind nature. The moment a storm erupts, so we'll use the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, the moment that wind starts going and the water starts going, it's out of control. 120, 130 destroys everything in its path. Maybe not absolutely everything. Maybe a house is still standing or a light pole is still standing, but destroys and destructs. And then it comes on land and it starts to calm down. And the farther it gets into land, the farther, for example, into the body, a calming happens. And eventually the storm dissipates. The farther you go into the body, that storm, that anxiety in the back, the kidneys, that depression in the front, the guts, the uterus, the intestines, the colon, the farther you get into land, the storm will slow down and eventually subside.